Day three of Edgbaston fifth test, England versus India. They say it is moving day, like we said yesterday. Day three always in a test match. Thankfully, the weather held up. It did impact for an hour or so, but we had a good chunk of game today, which has kept India firmly in control. Dubey, is that this? Is that how you summarize the day?
Yes, another fascinating day's play, as you mentioned, the moving day started with Jonny Bairstow. Okay, hello, say hello and go. Say hello. Yeah, started with Jonny Bairstow getting the 100 thanks to some sledging by Virat Kohli, and then in the end, that good partnership from Pujara and Rishabh Pant has ensured that India has got a very good chance of making this series 3-1. India's leading what with 250 runs, another 150 runs or so. Even 100 runs would be very difficult for England to get. But yeah, all in all, very, very good day's play. In the end, it seemed like a more normal test match in the last session with relatively low scoring rate. But yeah, another very good display.
Okay. And Shivam, let's start your day three again on a pretty disappointing note. Just not Virat Kohli's day. He sledged apparently Bairstow. Bairstow destroyed us, and then he couldn't get to the elusive score. So, how do you summarize the day minus Virat Kohli? Maybe you should come off
For us,
mute.
and yeah, I think definitely a good day for us. 250 plus lead with 7 wickets in hand, and with Pujara and Pant there, so definitely a good day for us. But I think an England fight back was expected, and we got that. And I'm not sure how much a role did Kohli sort of play to rile up Best. I mean, yes, after that altercation, Besto went back, but that's how it has been, right? That's been Besto's template, right? So whether it was a coincidence or what, Besto was going to come hard at us, and in fact, just look at what Ben Stokes was doing. I think within a space of 10 balls or 8 balls, he got dropped twice and got holed out as well,
Mm.
right? So I'll still say that this whole baseball strategy of England. I mean, it can come up once, twice, thrice, once in a series, but I'm not sure how long can they persist with it, right? Today's Pujara's innings was perfect. That is what we wanted, right? Just play out today's day, right? With have good wickets in hand. Tomorrow it's expected to be a better day for batting, so pile on the runs and then probably put England in. But I think we definitely the overall target should be at least 350. Uh, Purely by just out of fear, right? The ease with which England chased down 270, 290 against New Zealand thrice back to back. So we need a 350 target for sure.
Okay. So we are 257 ahead, Dubey, and Rishabh Pant can turn the game in one session. So speaking of England, could England have done anything differently while batting? I think Bairstow got it at a very crucial stage for England.
Yeah, I think maybe they missed the trick and I think I mentioned yesterday as well how Ben Stokes had got out charging to one of the New Zealand bowlers. He was just doing the same thing. Shardul dropped a catch, and then in the end, he was just being ultra aggressive, both of them. So I don't know, maybe an innings like Jadeja at the other end, where you just allow for Jonny Bairstow to just go on and play his game, might have been a better strategy. But considering where they were, I think 260 orders is not necessarily the worst position for them. They might have ask for their lower order batters to get some more runs. But it is what it is. I think they will definitely fancy their chances if they can get a decent start for the second innings. So I think not just the runs, I think Pujara's innings is super crucial in terms of eating out some time as well because India is leading the series. So if we can bat 2.5 sessions, irrespective of how many runs we get, it'll be very tough for New Zealand. I think they could have probably bowled a bit better as well. Ben Stokes was probably the pick of the bowlers from what I've seen. He was moving the ball so much, got that absolutely brilliant delivery to to Virat Kohli, which a lot of people thought that he should be leaving, which I don't agree. I think you just have to give credit to the bowler. But yeah, I think all in all, India's lead. But yeah, I think England's still in it if they can have a mini collapse tomorrow for India.
We'll come to that.
And just to add to that, Sumanji, see, Bairstow, the entire innings, he was super aggressive. But at no moment we thought that, he was slogging the ball.
Hmm.
All in all, proper cricketing shots, right? He was just being aggressive. Just playing it like a T20 or an ODI, whatever you want to call. But there was no slogging per se. With Ben Stokes, at in that brief period, he was mindlessly slogging. You get dropped twice. At least then you'll feel okay. I'm riding my luck. Let's just give me 5-10 balls. So if Bairstow would have stayed there for another half an hour or so, it would have been altogether a different story.
Yeah, even on
Oh,
Sky.
sorry, if Stokes had stayed longer, yeah.
Correct. Sky Cricket commentary also was pretty critical about Ben Stokes' approach, especially when he got two lives. He should have just consolidated. They referenced back his Headingley 2019 innings, where about 60 to 65 balls, he just did not score a run, but still ended up winning the game. So they said he's got the temperament, and like Shivam articulated, the bass ball thing, yes, it's a new era, but why not just play sensibly, which probably is going to end up costing England the game potentially. Time will tell. But let's spend some time on our India bowling. Four fast bowlers, all four of them got wicket. Pleasing to see Siraj amongst the wickets, and then also Shami. How good was Shami? He was unlucky, otherwise, he was 5 for today.
Firstly, I think India had the rub of the green in this test match because if it had not been for those rain interruptions, I can't see Shami and Bumrah bowling 20 out of the 21 overs at the start. So I think that helped. Obviously, with Bairstow in the mood he was in, he was taking a liking to Shardul Thakur as well as Mohammad Siraj. Yeah, we all thought that, and this is what happens, right? You have a partnership built up, and then you think that, oh, maybe Jadeja should come in. I don't know whether he could have come in slightly earlier. If at all India ends up losing this game, then I think they'll have England will have to thank what Bairstow did, because this 130 lead could have easily been 230. So I think quite a critical juncture at which he got those runs. But yeah, I think bowling wise, I think we leaked a bit too many runs. But I mean, we got them out for 260 odd, which is definitely not a bad thing considering we got a decent lead as well.
And Shivam, word on Bumrah's captaincy, I think it was a good solid innings which had attack and also defense needed. So how do you think he managed captaincy?
I think it was really good. In fact, I read it somewhere that Bumrah should be the natural deputy to Rohit Sharma in as far as captaincy is concerned, because he comes across as a natural leader, right? Even for Mumbai Indians, the way he has grown through the ranks, he's always been the thinking cricketer, very smart cricketer, right? Even and in fact, he has been sort of leading at least the bowling attack, right? He has been guiding Siraj and other folks who have come in. So he has been our top bowler for the last 3-4 years. Of course, Ashwin is a bowler when we are playing in the subcontinent, but Bumrah has been leading the attack, right? So whereas I'm not sure if you call Rahul a natural leader, right? And I've never seen Bumrah diving like that, right? Just to take a catch. So, so definitely Bumrah has come good as a captain. And just on that, on the Stokes batting, right? Even Pant was leaving Roots balls right outside the off stump. So if Pant can do that, yes, it was quite obvious because it was the last 2-3 overs of the day. Just imagine if Stokes or would have stayed there for another 2-3 overs, and this 130 lead, which should have been 160, 170, could have easily been less than 100,
Yeah.
and then we would have been in a soup.
Adi was telling in our WhatsApp group, day 4, day 5 are the best batting days in Edgbaston because sun probably is going to come out. So yeah, India has some work to do still. They are still not out of the woods yet. And from Bumrah's perspective, Dubey, I know start of the game you did have a big question mark, but how do you see him settling down into the leadership role?
No, I'm happy with his performance. One of my problem is that he's not even a short-term captain, because one is, if he's starting to overbowl himself, he's very prone to injury. He hardly plays any tests at home. So if you're looking for a deputy, you have to look at someone who's playing pretty much every game. Someone like Virat Kohli or Pant or KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma. That's the reason why you would pick up someone who's a regular in the side. And
So
this is
the problem is our captain is the most injury prone player across country is right. I mean, I've never seen a top player getting injured so much. And
yeah.
I think Bumrah, rather than getting injured in home test, he's more or less rested, and that's a
Yes.
strategy that we have been followed.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, like, he might overbowl, and we need him for, we need his bowling more than the captaincy. I think captaincy, if Rohit is not there, then someone like KL Rahul would be fine. But yeah, I don't see him as a medium term, short term, or any any length of time. I can't see him doing too much captaincy, especially at home, which is where we'll play most of the games. So I was a bit surprised, but yeah, one off test match, he's pulled it off so far, so you can't complain at all.
Right.
Absolutely.
But one thing is quite interesting to see. See, I think with all due respect, Rohit Sharma, I don't see like I mean, he's what 35, 36, right? Right. I mean, uh, presently, but so we don't see him play more like beyond 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. And I don't see KL Rahul as a long term captain. So one
But
thing I
I'd be
think is pretty clear. Yeah,
No, I'd be
I think
happy
they're
on
grooming Rishabh Pant. I
the
think they're grooming Rishabh Pant as an all format captain
yeah, I think the problem here is there was no succession planning, because everyone was caught surprised with how Virat
with
Kohli
that
left.
whole Kohli incident. Correct.
Otherwise, everyone assumed Virat Kohli's best format as a captain. He's going to captain another 3 4 years easily. That's the reason why no one's had a chance to groom. So by default, you just give the captaincy to Rohit Sharma. Then at least you have consistency in all the formats. Whether KL Rahul eventually or eventually Pant gets it, I would have thought that Jadeja had a very good chance in this game had he had a decent stint with CSK, because he pretty much is walking into the Indian side just at a batter. So yeah, so but yeah, good
But
luck.
you see Pant as a captain or a Rahul as a captain, all format captain for the future.
I would make Pant as a captain. I would go for him, to be honest, because one is, even with Delhi captain, what I've realized, he might be playing poorly, but his style of playing hasn't necessarily changed. It's quite frustrating to see him, but whether it eventually catches up, like he can have a horrible run where he's just getting out, charging the ball to anyone in Test cricket, and then the axe would be out very quickly. That's the reason why I think KL Rahul will end up becoming
and
a
and
permanent
and we
leader.
can always hope. Yeah, we can always hope that maybe similar to Dhoni, he'll sort of mellow down and become more of a batter rather than a finisher. Once he gets captaincy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think in limited formats, he's got a very good chance to become a captain. I think even ahead of KL Rahul, I would say. But KL Rahul, I think, has a better chance of being a medium-term to long-term captain for India.
Fascinating. I personally saw that it is getting best out of Bumrah, the leadership role. Like Shiva mentioned, in the field, he is much more active. I can see him much more engaged now on the mid-on, talking to the bowlers. So I feel that if given a long run, he definitely will turn into a good leader, but time will tell. But let's switch to the second innings of India. Shubman Gill, after that 91 at Gaba, I think 14 odd innings, last 14 odd innings, there are only 440 plus scores. We were expecting a good start, but Jimmy Allison, what a beauty. But looks like they worked out Shubman Gill, exact same dismissal as first innings, Dubey. So how do you summarize Shubman Gill's
Yeah,
performance?
Shubman Gill doesn't, warrant a place in the side if Rohit and KL are fit. So it's a one-off Test match. Although he did reasonably well in the World Test Championship final, where he had decent starts with Rohit Sharma, where he took his time, etc. First ball, he drove it for four. I mean, people getting out early, you can't necessarily blame. And it's a one-off Test, but I think the jury is still out whether he's going to be suited for opening. Even when he scored that 91, I think he's perfect for a number five or a number six, because when the ball is old, his game is not necessarily to be an opener in any condition. So I won't be surprised if at some point he gets a place in the middle order, because he's too good a talent to be for Indian cricket to miss out on. I think someone like a Shreyas Iyer might give way, or even a Pujara at some point in time. So they will make way for Gill. I'm quite confident of that. The disappointing thing for me is how Shreyas wasted the opportunity in the first innings, and Vihari has wasted two opportunities in this game, because it's not going to come in thick and fast. Any opportunities. Poor guy went to South Africa with the A side just to be prepared in case he's required in the test side. And Shreyas got that opportunity. He scored those runs, and he's almost like ahead of Vihari now. So whenever Vihari gets his chances, he has to grab them. So I feel sorry for him, because these are tough conditions, etc. But yeah, I think with Virat Kohli being in that bad form, everyone else is also pretty much in bad form. So before anyone thinks of resting Virat Kohli or putting the axe on him, there are a lot of other people where I think they'll make those changes. So yeah, I think quite disappointing to see people losing out on opportunities.
Shivam, I think Sanjay makes a good point. Instead of dropping Gill because he's failing at the top, give him an older ball. So if Shreyas Iyer does not play, my number 4 or number 5 naturally is going to be Sky across all formats. But do you feel Gill playing that role and Surya Kumar Yadav still sitting out?
I don't see Sky as of now playing in the test team. He's not there in my top 11, at least as far as the tests are concerned. Yes, he's a fantastic player, but he's still not had a consistently good run in the white ball cricket, right? Let him first establish as a first choice top four guy in your T20 and ODIs, and then think of getting him into tests, right? There's no point just getting him into trying one innings here or there, and then you have Gill, you have Hanuma Vihari, Pujara. Who knows when Rahane gets fit, right? He warrants at least a second chance, right? I mean, वापस तो एक बार ही आएगा. अभी वो खेले ना खेले, but I think he'll definitely come back once. And but I think we're thinking of Gill and Vihari to come at number 5, number 6. Why not try Virat Kohli once? See, I'm not sure if this is a good comparison or not. Even Sachin, when he was not getting that 100th century, he needed Bangladesh to come and help him get that 100th century. I think it was what 1.5 years, 2 years. You're waiting कब आएगा. तो
Bangladesh is
अभी
still
नहीं हो
doing
रहा है,
well.
right? Correct. So that's what I'm saying. So if Virat Kohli is not able to, and every time it's the same old story. He comes, he scores those two scorching cover drives, plays 20, 25. We think, okay, today is the day. And then there is one brilliant catch or one poor pitch or one snorter of a delivery. Even today, everybody's saying it's a snorter, it's a snorter. But it's Virat Kohli, right? It's Virat Kohli. It's not Shubman Gill who will say, ki, "ठीक है, मतलब it was a great ball and you will get out." Pujara was taking so many blows in that Australia match, right? All were similar balls, good length balls, jumping, and he's taking blows at the body. So, ठीक है, अभी if you're not scoring, either you take a break, go to Ranji, play one season, come back, or at least drop down the order in test at least, and maybe play against the old ball. I think Bairstow also. See, Bairstow coming at number 5, number 6, smashing these hundreds. I don't think Bairstow will be able to do that if he's opening or coming number 3 with the new ball moving here and there. So just a suggestion that I think rather than dropping Virat Kohli as such, or maybe trying Shreyas Iyer or Hanuma Vihari or other folks, just take Virat Kohli to number 6 or number 5, maybe number 6, and then see from where then see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
tough lot to please. I think today's was unplayable, to be honest. But I do get the point that it's getting to a point where I think everyone in India is just jinxing him. Every time he plays one or two good cover drives, everyone in WhatsApp group is like, "Oh, today is the day, 100th." And then there's a
And
comparison in the last 2 years, how many hundreds Root has got and Virat Kohli's got nothing, and just all sorts of memes.
And just to add there, sir, see, just to add there, there's a lot of talk going on that, for people who have not scored that much are acting as cricket experts, or, 5 match, 10 match commentators are commenting on Virat Kohli. See, yes, he's been the greatest player, right, for a long period of time. He has scored. immense number of runs, so many centuries, right? And of course, he himself has set that standard, right? But right now, this prolonged poor form of close to 2 years. I mean, you cannot just harping back to that previous 5 6 years era that he was the greatest batsman of all time, right? And the problem with Virat Kohli is, see, I think you remember Sachin also when he had a prolonged poor form. I think there was this one innings against Australia we scored what 240 or 250, and out of that 400 balls he faced, when you saw the wagon wheel at the end of the innings, there was not a single run scored on the offside. So what I'm just trying to say is that even great players have to do something drastic. That was something drastic that Sachin did that particular day, right? To come out of that bad form. Did not play on the offside, did not score a single run out of 240 runs. I think 200, 220 he scored on the leg side. So I don't know what Virat Kohli has to do, but something has to be done. Either he himself does it, Rahul Dravid does it, his childhood Delhi coach does it, somebody has to do, or Anushka Sharma does it. I don't know who does it, but something has to be done.
India didn't win that
Sorry
test
for the
match.
monologue.
Only-
I'm done. That's fine, but at least he came back in form. I mean, till
We
when we will
batted
say
in
this, sir?
form. I remember that test match, Sydney. We batted almost 1 hour on the third day. We scored 700 runs. For God's sake, if you're looking to win a test series, you better declare early, right? So, yeah.
So, speaking about winning the series, let's look at the run rates, right? England scored at a rate of which I think 4.6, and India in second innings are going at a rate of 2.4. So I get it that we didn't have a great start, but do you think that will be a factor if we were to push for the result? Like if there is a mini collapse tomorrow, we are at a risk of probably getting bowled out below 350, isn't it, Dubey?
No, exactly. I see what you mean. And this almost happened last in the same series in Lords. What happened was you had Pujara and Rahane both terribly out of form. They just batted one session out, getting 50 runs. The next morning, or in fact, late that day, you had a collapse. Then you had that famous partnership between Bumrah and Shami. They getting those 70, 80 extra runs. And eventually, it was that fast scoring pace because you need runs for to be able to challenge England. Although the bowling rate has been absolutely pathetic, so I don't know whether we'll be able to get 180 odd overs in 2 days. But let's say we get 160 overs, then yeah, you'd still expect at some point in time that tomorrow India will be able to get at least maybe 100 runs. But yeah, England's not completely out of it. I would like them to push on a bit more harder. But yeah, one session of Pant, then I think we'd be safe.
But I think that mini collapse could have happened today also. So I don't mind Pujara sort of grinding it out today, and Anderson going round the wicket and bowling bouncers. That itself shows, right, that's for picture perfect Pujara. Grinding down the bowlers, grinding down bowlers. You don't expect Jimmy Anderson coming round the wicket and try to bounce out the bowler, right? So I am pretty good with it, and see, we are leading the series 2-1, right? So I think it's the England side which has to sort of make the moves. We can sort of buy out time also, just bat ourselves into a strong position, because I'm saying, see, uh, the fact that England chased so easily back to back three test matches. If it was one match, two match, even then it would have been fine, right? But back to back three matches, Bairstow scoring a century. I'm still wary of this English lineup. And India is still in a good position. England are not out of it. This is even after Root got out for 30, right? Root has been a chief tormentor for us. So imagine if Root scores a 50-60 in the fourth innings, Stokes going mad, Bairstow going mad, then we'll be touch nervous, right? So I think I'm pretty good with what they did in the final session, irrespective of the run rate.
Very fair argument. Very fair argument. So tomorrow predictions: 150 runs away from 400, which seems like a safe zone to be. So what do you think India will set England for?
Oh, I don't think India is going to declare at all unless we are in a situation that we bat more than two sessions. So I would I would love to see Pujara get 100. He's not had 100 since 2018. I don't want to see a collapse. Barring a collapse, I think It'll take something spectacular for England to pull this off. But Pant looks to be in the mood. This is the first time he's left 6 balls in an over in Test cricket.
Correct.
That was the stat someone raised, that too with Joe Root.
And still ended up bottom edging the last ball,
Yes. So,
which Sam Billings dropped.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Pant scores another 100 maybe tomorrow.
That'd
There's
be
so many
awesome.
amazing stats. So Pant is the only visiting keeper to have more than 100 in England. He's the only visiting keeper to have more
Even
than
Gilchrist does not have more than 100 in England.
no. Gilchrist had a terrible time in England if you remember 2005. I don't know whether he's got 100 at all, to be honest. But and he's the only visiting keeper. And this is all Andy Zoltzman stats, Suman, from BBC TMS. He's the only visiting keeper in Australia to have two scores of more than 89. He's got 100 in South Africa, England. England, he's got 200.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's
Great.
whenever he scores runs, I think India will be always doing well. So I'm hoping he has a good 50-60 balls, and I think he'll be back to probably smashing whoever's bowling tomorrow, because the ball is 30-35 hours old now, decent weather. So anything coming his way is going to go hopefully tomorrow.
Dubey is absolutely
And
right.
I think, sir, tomorrow Shreyas Iyer is my dark horse. You'll see Shreyas Iyer giving a contribution with the bat tomorrow. Maybe it's a 30, 40 or a 50, whatever, but I think he'll score runs tomorrow.
Once a Delhi Capitals fan, always a Delhi Capitals. But
No. I think he'll score runs tomorrow. Yeah.
you're right about Gilchrist. He's got only 100, and the next highest score was 90 at Lords in UK. Everything else came in Australia versus England. Okay, so you're looking at what score prediction tomorrow?
I'd say 400 at least, or even inch it to 435, so that if England win, then fair play to them, they get the world record. But whatever India get, England will try and score this. Even if it's one day with 420 to get, I think they'll still go for it. So it'd be
Yeah, absolutely. See, as it is, whether they lose 2-1 or 3-1, it does not matter. So whatever the score is, England will go for it.
yeah,
And
anything all
Shivam,
three sides, I'd be confident India will win.
and I saw stat, I think Craig Jones posted, Shivam, saying that every time India scored 400 in a first innings of Test match, I think 80% of the time India won. So what's going to be your prediction tomorrow in terms of what is the score set?
See, I think first India should not have any target in mind. They should just keep batting. Right? Just bat for as long as possible. Pant will play his natural game. Jadeja will play his natural game, right? And some crucial contributions from your Shardul Thakur. Shreyas Iyer is definitely going to score tomorrow. And if Pujara plays another 2 sessions, right, and everybody else revolves around him, I think we should be in a good position. So somewhere around 400, I think that should be good. But India should not have any score in mind. They should just keep batting and batting. Sometimes you have to be smart, right? All this baseball, playing to win, and all this is fine. Just ensure the series, right? Just bat, and bat. Absolutely.
Okay. And we were all deprived of a super over for 2 editions of IPL. Any takers for a tied Test match tomorrow or day after?
Well, it can't happen tomorrow, I would think, unless India has a collapse and there's 300 to get, and they try and get it within tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, we've not had a tied Test match for a good 36 years, so why not?
Yeah, excellent. Great. And we had Amarjeet, new visitor, joining in. He said hi to all of us. So that's all he left it as, which is great. But Dubey, thanks
And
for
just one question, sir, before we wind up. When is this guy retiring? Please do something and get him retired. Just Jimmy Anderson, yeah, it's crazy. 39 plus, still taking 5 wicket hauls against India. I mean, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
He's going to turn 14, I think, couple of weeks. July is his birthday. Outstanding. Just outstanding. 34 5 wicket hauls. Just second to Richard Hadley. He's just keep going, and I think he's been fantastic for England. And only one thing,
Absolutely great.
whenever somebody talks about Jimmy Anderson retiring, only one video keeps coming to me. You guys should go back and watch it on Twitter or YouTube. Is somebody had asked him on a live podcast about Alistair Cook retirement. He spoke about it very polishly, and then after that, he didn't realize that he didn't hang up the phone or the podcast, and he's like, he just spoke trash. So that's what comes to my mind. Hopefully, Alistair Cook, remembers that. But it's great. No, but Jimmy Anderson is fantastic, outstanding. I mean, what he did to Shubman Gill, that's a perfect start England was looking for. And hopefully, I feel that tomorrow he probably will play a role. I know, Shivam, you mentioned that coming around the wicket to Pujara, he's wearing him out, but Pujara has that weakness of leg side bouncer. Probably that's what they were trying to work towards. So again, Jimmy is a pretty old fox, so he
which
probably
is which is even more frustrating, sir. Which is even more frustrating that at that age, 40 odd, whatever, 600 plus wickets, he's still not afraid to try new things. Still putting his heart in the bowling. It's absolutely scary.
yeah, amazing, amazing servant to the game. Excellent. Thank you for hopping on, Shivam. Hopefully, we will see you tomorrow back on. If Rishabh Pant scores a century, or Shreyas Iyer does that
Or
amazing,
Shardul Thakur.
or
Any-
Shardul Thakur. And Dubey, we will speak to you later. For folks who have engaged and who have been watching, just drop us that like and put a comment. It will encourage us. We'll continue to bring you the content. Until tomorrow, take care. Shabak Khair.
Thank you, guys.